The Kia Telluride and Toyota Grand Highlander are two of the best three-row SUVs on the market today. One is basically one of the best SUVs you can buy, and the other is an appliance that ticks off a lot of boxes without raising any eyebrows. And with the Telluride's complete redesign for 2027, does the Grand Highlander still hold up after almost 4 years of no updates? And which one actually deserves your hard-earned cash? Well, that's exactly what you'll find out in this video. So, without any further ado, let's jump right in. I mean, right off the bat, Kia seems to have went all out. The new grille is so big that it takes the entire upper half of the front end, with two distinct patterns depending on the model you get. The X-Pro gets a mesh of rectangles dotted around, while the rest of the lineup gets vertical slats with different thicknesses. The headlights are also new and extend down into the bumper with the Cybertooth DRL line and signature. Moving to the side, the silhouette is much more upright and angular, and those door handles now sit flush for a cleaner look. I do have one small niggle though. Right at the 12 o'clock position on the wheel arches, there is this weird little square mark that feels just out of place. It's less noticeable on the luxury trims with bigger wheels, but once you see it, you really can't unsee it. In terms of footprint, the Telluride has definitely grown. The wheelbase is up by 2.7 inches and it's over 2 inches longer overall. But around back, well, there is no way around it. It looks exactly like a Range Rover. Between the vertical taillights and the way the bumper corners slope, the resemblance is uncanny. There is even a character line under the logo that makes it look like a two-piece split tailgate, but it's actually just for show. Now, switching over to the Grand Highlander, the design is way more toned down compared to the Telluride. In every aspect, it feels a bit more cookie-cutter than anything Kia has put out in the last decade. The lower grille feels a bit too big, it just takes up a ton of real estate on the front end, and if you are not springing for the 20-inch wheels on the limited or platinum trims, the base 18s make the whole car look a little awkward. That said, there are some nice touches. The headlights and taillights are sharp and actually integrate well into the design. The front bumper has some great angles, and I actually really like that silver trim piece just above the upper grille. It does a good job of tying the whole face together. From the side, the profile is muscular and imposing, but you won't find any major swoop-in lines or deep creases here. Then, around back, you've got these LED taillights that extend right into the handsomely sculpted tailgate, plus they've integrated dual rear exhaust outlets into the bumper, which adds just enough sportiness to the rear. When it comes to looks, at least personally, I think it's a no-brainer. The Telluride at least tries to do something interesting here, but some might be put off by its wild design, so it really comes down to personal preference. Jumping inside, whatever you think of the Telluride's exterior, the cabin is less polarizing and arguably pretty good looking. While the old model featured a fairly attractive design, this generation is completely new with a more horizontal look. The two-tier design wraps around the driver and passenger with boot trim and ambient lighting embedded within it. They even used real metal accents here, which gives the whole space a much more premium feel. Another big change is infotainment. The old separate screens are now gone, replaced by a massive curved panoramic display that puts it right in line with the new Sportage with the same easy-to-use interface. You'll also notice a new twist-to-action shifter behind the steering wheel that opens up a ton of space in the center console and adds things like redesigned grab handles. But it's not perfect. One major downside are the climate controls. They are now tucked away in a bit of a blind spot behind the steering wheel, which feels like a step back from the old physical buttons. Now, for Toyota, the Grand Highlander's interior is mostly great. If you're looking at the Platinum model, you are getting plenty of high-quality leather, while the best XLE opts for pleather instead. On the higher trims, the seats, door panels, center console, even the top of the dash are all covered in actual leather. Toyota even went with rubberized buttons and controls here. It's a bit of a departure from the metal dials you see in other SUVs, but it feels rugged. Honestly, both the faux wood and black plastic feel a little cheap for a cabin that's otherwise this premium. When you put it side by side with the Telluride, the Kia it just looks more luxurious. On the tech side, every model comes standard with a 12.3-inch touchscreen running Toyota's latest system. The home screen is clean, quick, with both wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard. Now, if you step up to the limited or platinum models, you get a matching 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster instead of the base 7-inch unit. But I'll be honest, it's a bit of a mess. Between your speeds, maps, road signs, and hybrid power delivery, there is just way too much going on. It feels cluttered to almost an annoying level, especially compared to that in the Telluride. Now, let's talk about space. The new Telluride's wheelbase has been stretched by nearly 3 inches, and you can really feel it inside. Up front, you got tons of head and legroom, plus the seats are really supportive for those long hauls. Moving to the second row is just as roomy, and the captain's chairs specifically are easily some of the best in the segment. Now, the third row, it's still a bit tight for tall adults, so maybe keep it for kids. As for the trunk, you get 22 cubic feet with all the seats up, fold that third row down and it jumps to about 49 cubes, and if you drop everything, you are looking at over 89 cubic feet of total cargo room. It's basically a van at this point. Now, the Grand Highlander's size is pretty much identical to that of the Telluride in just about every aspect. The front seats are soft with solid bolstering and plenty of space in every direction. Climb into the second row and the captain's chairs suffer from somewhat limited support, especially for tall passengers with 3 inches less legroom than the Telluride. Third row access is impressively easy with slide-in seats and is big enough for 2 adults to sit back there comfortably for a long period of time thanks to above-average headroom and legroom, putting it in line with the Kia. As for cargo space, this is where it pulls ahead of the Telluride. Behind the third row, you get a healthy 20.6 cubic feet, fold it down and you get 58 cubes, and with all the seats down, you get a massive, best-in-class 97.5 cubes. When it comes to pricing, the 2027 Kia Telluride LX starts at $39,000 $190 for an 8-seater. But honestly, the mid-range EX is the sweet spot. For about $45,000, you are getting the best of the best. 20-inch alloys, heated and cooled seats, and that massive dual-screen setup. If you want to go all out, the top-tier X-Line Prestige will run you nearly $55,000. Now, to get a Grand Highlander, you will be paying a premium. The base LE model starts at $41,000 $700, but the XLE trim is the one to go for. You get upgraded from cloth upholstery to synthetic leather, along with a power liftgate and a leather-wrapped steering wheel. This trim also includes heated power front seats, a choice of second-row captain's chairs or a 3-row crossbench seat, and wireless phone charging. When it comes to driving and handling, the 2027 Telluride ditches the V6 entirely for this gas standard model, swapping it for a 2.5-liter Turbo 4. Now, it's got slightly less horsepower at 274, but it's got way more get-up-and-go at 311 pound-feet of torque. This new engine replaces the old 3.8-liter V6, which really worked hard to get it going. And the good news is that this new engine is significantly more refined, and while it won't burn any rubber, it's far more effortless when getting up to speed. Then there is the big news, which is the hybrid, a 2.5-liter turbo hybrid system pushing 329 horsepower. It's actually targeting a massive 35 mpg highway. From the first few miles, the hybrid actually feels like the better drive, and it's quicker than the gas version and dead silent in the city. As for Toyota, the Grand Highlander offers 3 engine options, but the Hybrid Max powertrain might be the best option in the entire class. It combines the same turbocharged 4 from the base model with a battery pack and motor on each axle, giving this version a healthy 362 horsepower and 400 pound-feet. And the Hybrid Max is surprisingly fast, almost like a RAV4 Prime without the plug. It moves up hilly roads that can challenge the base gas model without breaking a sweat. The base model uses an unobtrusive 8-speed automatic, and the hybrid gets a CVT. Strangely though, the Hybrid Max uses an old-school 6-speed auto that definitely feels clunkier than the better 8-speed. Even with all that heavy gear on board, the Grand Highlander feels and handles very well for a 3-row SUV. The suspension borders on stiff compared to the Telluride, but it makes up for that slight rigidity with excellent corner abilities. The perfectly weighted steering delivers just enough road feel while there is a shockingly minimal amount of body roll, especially for such a big SUV. So, which one should you choose? Well, I think it's a really simple one. If all you care about is reliability and something that holds on to its value come resale time, then the Grand Highlander is the way to go. But if you want something that is cheap and actually offers a decent amount of options, then the Telluride is a really good buy, especially at lower trim levels.